First off, obviously want to congratulate the big fella beside me. It's exciting for us to have him back, and he's excited. A lot of talk about a miracle cure and all of that, but really he's came back when we expected him to come back. And I think it's a wee bit strong to say he actually broke his leg. He only really had a stress track in it, a small one, but and the timeline's been great. He's trained magnificently all week, and we're pretty excited about him coming back and watching him train all week. I think he is too. You've no doubt got some questions about why we've changed the front rowers, so I'll answer those so you don't all have to ask me why. For us, the front rowing quartet have a job to do, and Woody and Owie have been doing that job really, really well. So it's not a reflection on what they've been doing, it's more a reflection on what Wyatt and Charlie have been doing, and both of them have been playing really, really well, and we now want to see them start the game and see how that goes. So it's just a swapping of the roles. You're obviously wondering about Ma as well. Ma got injured on Sunday, just ripped his shoulder, pulled his shoulder back and strained muscles there. In consultation with the medical crew on Monday, I decided it's not worth risking him or the other three injured players. If we were playing a final on Friday night, all four of them probably could have played, but it's not a smart play to put them at risk at this point, and giving them an extra week. We just feel that they'll be well and truly over the injuries next week, so we're expecting all four of them to be available for selection, and I think that's covered most things. So any questions on top of that, I'm happy to answer.
It was not an injury during the training session, was it?
Yes. He didn't trip over anything? No. Definitely during training. Tackling somebody.
Steve, is it a challenging balancing act between looking at this game but also looking at Tonga and then possibly the quarter-final when it comes to selections, especially in that pack?
Yes and no. Like, we always look at our group as a 23, so when we pick the team, we pick 23 to do the job. So that's the first and foremost, that's what we're looking to do. What 23 do we need? Because our bench is so important to us. And then, what, as I've just explained before, what we wanted to look at with the props is, can we swap them around and get the same performances? And the only way we can find that out is actually doing it. So this is the game to do that. And then once we've had this game, we can sit back and reflect and see, well, how did that work? Yeah, it was pretty good, so now we've got options. Just to change it up a bit.
Steve, what was TJ's reaction when you told him he was covering first five?
Oh, pretty excited. He's done it. He played New Zealand schoolboys there. He played in our game back in Auckland when we played each other. He played first five in that game, so it's not something that's new to him. He's also going to kick the goals if he has to come on, so he's pretty excited. Give him something else to think about.
Steve, how have you rated Sonny Bill Williams' form so far at this tournament?
Pretty good. What about yourself? Think he's going well?
Really well, so is it quite nice when a guy like Ma's injured to have a guy like Sonny to bring in?
Yeah, well, it's really nice to have that depth. It's, you can't forget Malachi either. Like, to be able to lose a player like Ma and then to be able to have the opportunity to bring someone like Malachi into the 23 is pretty exciting as well. So all four of our midfielders are world class, and we're very fortunate to have all four of them.
If Ma'a was fit, would it have been a really tough call at 12?
It's going to be a tough call at 12 and 13 for, as I just said, we've got four world class midfielders, so it's always tough. But that's what you get paid for, to make the tough decisions, and you've got to do what's right for the team. And it's about again using your 23 though, and I'm sure he probably would have made the 23.
Is this a chance for Sonny Bill to put his hand up as for a starting position for the following game against him?
Oh, I think he's already done that. Like, his form's been short of outstanding. So I think outside looking in, I think everyone can get excited about, is this the game that's going to put your hand up? We expect people to put their hand up every time they play. And then we have to, as selectors, myself, Foxy and Foz, have to make the tough calls and which one do we leave out. But what you can't have is people, worrying about selection, because they don't control it. What they control is their performance. And again, the message from us is, well, you prepare well. You do what you have to do that makes you play well, and then put the pressure on us as selectors to select well. And once you get your players realising that, then it's not about, well, is this the game or is that the game? It's just, I've got to go out and play well. And as a team, that's what we want to do. We want to get better every time we play. Now, we don't always do that, but that's what we're striving to do.
Waisake, hello. How much of a relief is it?
Got a new last name, mate. Waisake Naholo.
I thought you said my last name.
You've had a few days off, Steve.
I have.
How much of a relief is it to finally play again?
I'm just really excited. Even at training the last couple of days and last week, the doctor and I have been holding me back a little bit from doing some stuff, but yeah, at training this week's I'm just really excited. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're 100%? You're ready to go?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Waisake, do you have any nerves going into this game? Are you nervous about
Yeah, I'm always nervous before every game. Even this morning's walkthrough, I was a bit nervous, but yeah, it's something I expect.
How are you when you're nervous? How does it express? You can't sleep when you're nervous.
Oh no, I sleep all good at night. Yeah.
He's Fijian.
What is the difference?
Like I'm nervous at training about game plans and stuff and thinking about the game.
You fall balls?
What's that?
You falling balls?
No. Didn't drop.
Drop.
It means dropping the
no.
ball, not falling balls.
No.
Waisake, any Georgian players you're particularly looking forward to the challenge of playing?
They're number 8 and then number 12 is they're quite big and yeah, so if they come down my way, I'll do my best to stop them.
Steve, how much of a mental challenge is it for Tony and Owen to become the guys coming on the bench? Because you've differentiated your starting and your finishing front row forwards reasonably significantly during your time.
Yeah, no, it's massive really, because we've talked about it with them this week, that it's a totally different job, and that's why we need to try and do it and see how they cope with it, because it's a different role altogether. When you're starting, you've got surety about when the kick-off is. When you're coming off the bench, you don't know. When you're coming off, it's very easy to make the mistake of just following the game rather than narrowing up your view of the game to where you're needed and what you're going to do when you get out there. So it'll be good practice for them, and we'll see how they go.
Steve, how excited are you to be able to use Waisake finally?
Yes.
How excited am I? They're very excited. I mean, it's a word we've used a lot since we've come to this tournament. But it really reflects how we feel about the tournament. The group sees it as a massive challenge, and it's the pinnacle of your career. And so, to have a guy who probably was the player of the Super Rugby, top try scorer, gives us real genuine pace and ability to beat people. It's exciting to have someone like that in your group, and to have him out on the track, and after the disappointment of thinking maybe we weren't going to be able to select him, to get a second chance is wonderful, and really pleased for him. He's worked extremely hard, as have the medical staff with him, to get him to where we've got him. And the question is, he confident he's 100%? He's probably 100% a week ago. But because of the planning and the work the medical staff have got, we're extremely confident that he's ready to play. And as I said, watching him train this week's been pleasurable, because a few people have been, where's he gone? I think a couple of the boys took a torch back to training last night to try and find out where he went, because they still don't know where he's gone.
Waisake, for those of us who don't follow the All Blacks all the time, can you just talk about your recovery process? And there's obviously reports that you went back to Fiji to leaves on a leg, etc. Can you just go through exactly what happened? Because a lot of us are not 100% sure.
Yeah, I was just went back to Fiji. My uncle does a little bit of massages in it and apply some leaves that we use back in Fiji. And yeah, and I came back to New Zealand, and the doctors and the physio from the All Blacks just carried on from there. So,
Steve, this is your 4th World Cup. I just wanted to ask your thoughts generally on the standard, what you've seen so far, and is it different? Is it more intense than the others that you've been involved in?
Well, the first one I went to, I was naive as a coach and really didn't know anything about what we were doing. And I think the more you go, the more you understand, the makeup of the tournament and what you've got to do. And in 2007 we made a lot of mistakes as a coaching group, and we had a pretty good side and didn't get past quarterfinals. And we've got a very good side now. We might not get past the quarterfinals again. But it won't be through making the mistakes we made back then. Is the intensity of the tournament getting greater? I think it is. The so-called minnows are putting their hand up and contributing to games, and the Japanese South African game was a sensational for world rugby and not so great for South Africa, but I still think they'll top the pool. They've shown a lot of courage and come back from it. Last Saturday's night again was a classic Rugby World Cup game, and then probably the game of the tournament so far. And certainly this place went off, and now we're going to see how much mental capacity the English have got, because they're in a do or die situation, which will make them really dangerous, I think. And Aussie need to front up too, so that'll be another great game this weekend. And then we get into the last of the pool games, and one or two sides will be in desperate situations. So, but then I think this tournament there's going to be the risk of some really, really good sides getting knocked out in the quarterfinals.
Did last Saturday surprise you, and were there a few old mates from Lisbon phoning you up with a few messages?
No, they weren't ringing me because I've got nothing to do with Wales now. So. But obviously people in Wales are very excited because they've given themselves a massive chance of getting out of the pool, and everyone knows it's a tough pool. Did it surprise me? No, because both teams played really, really well, and it went down to the wire. And there's been a lot of criticism of England, and I'm not sure that it's warranted. You can be disappointed with the result, but. Those guys went out and they played another team that played very, very well, and sometimes someone's going to be a loser. And everyone's an expert on what to do when there's a kick at goal or take a line out, but not too many people actually get the opportunity to have their expertise tested. Rob Shaw made a decision based on what he thought was right at the time, and who was in the best position to make that decision? Him. So. He'll make decisions going forward that we won't always agree with either, or just may agree with. But your captain's the guy that you trust to make those decisions in the heat of the moment, and it's all very fine sitting in the grandstand or sitting in front of the TV making them, because you're not under any pressure. And put people under pressure in the grandstand or on their couch, and they'll change some of the things they do too. So I think we just got to be a bit wary about dismissing them.
Waisake, you said you were a bit nervous, but you had a day off yesterday. What did you do to relax?
I went up with some of the boys, go shoot some clays. It was my first time shooting, so it was fun.
What was your aim like?
Pretty good.
Steve, what's your history with Milton Hague, if any?
Oh, we know Milton quite well. Like all the New Zealand coaches we know, most of them we've spent time with, and Milton's no different. So before he went to Georgia, he was playing a big part in New Zealand rugby, and know him well. So I look forward to catching up with him.
Does that help any prep for this?
Oh, not really, no. I mean, Georgia aren't a team we know a lot about. It's hard to get footage from afar, but we've got enough of it, and we've seen enough in this tournament already to know that they're big, physical, strong men, and they'll try and play a game that where they can dominate our set piece and probably slow it down a bit. So we'll have to look to, you know, to be on our mettle and do things right at set piece and try and move them around a wee bit.
Steve, just going back to 2007, if I may, you mentioned you learned things, you won't make the same mistakes again. Can you give us an insight then, assisting Graham at that tournament, what in particular you've taken that will help you now?
No, I can't, because there's no point in me giving everyone else our lessons. They can learn them themselves.
Steve, this is going to be Gilbert Chinoka 200 game. What did you learn from him?
Oh, Gilbert's a good man. He's he looks after the mental side of our game, and he's delivered a lot of good stuff, which I'm not going to talk about, because again, there's no point giving everybody everything for free. They can go and work it out themselves. But he's a very important part of spoke in the wheel of the team, and you know, he cares a lot about the team. You don't be around for 200 tests without caring a lot about it, and he's been of great value to not only myself but all the players and the group itself.
Waisake, if you hadn't gone back to Fiji and had the leaves and everything, do you think you'd be here now?
I don't know. Me being here, it was all up to these guys, to the coaches and the selectors.
You'd be fit now?
It's a really tough question to ask. Like, how does he know? He's not a witch doctor. He's not a doctor. He's not, like, all he knows is his leg's right, and we know his leg's right because we've had it X-rayed and it's healed, and we decided to pick him. So as long as his leg was going to be right, he was always going to be here.
Thanks everyone. Stick around. We've got players coming for the second.